Yugoslavia, a nation known for its violent collapse in the 1990s, bringing Europe its deadliest war since World War II. But how was a nation with such a cursed fate born in the first place?
It began in the ashes of the First World War. A power vacuum was created with the collapse of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The many Slavs in the multi-ethnic empire wanted to break away from their Austrian rulers, who had been exploiting them for decades. However, they were too weak to do it alone. So they turned south to their Serbian brothers, who had just defeated Austria-Hungary in the First World War. Inspired by the unification of Germany, Italy, and Great Britain, they looked to unite the South Slavs, or Yugoslavs, in one state, ruled by the Serbian monarch King Peter the Great.
At first, they didn't know what to call this nation, so they made the temporary name of the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovens, and then later, in 1920, under King Alexander, it was changed to the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. At last, Yugoslavia was born.
The Kingdom of Yugoslavia promised to make all South Slavs equal. However, that promise was a lie. The Serbian monarch in charge bent the borders of the republics inside so that every state would have a Serbian majority, therefore always voting for the Serbian king to stay in power. This upset a lot of the other Slavic groups, and even a lot of Serbians were unhappy with the king's actions, such as oppressing all the Slavs who weren't Serbian, especially the Bosnians and Macedonians. Actions like this lead to the country becoming divided and made it difficult to get anything done. This made the country very poor and behind all its neighbors.
Then, in 1941, when Yugoslavia refused to join the Axis powers, Hitler made an oath swearing to destroy Yugoslavia with no mercy and setting an example for the world to see Germany's power. The weak and corrupt government collapsed in less than 20 days, and the ones who didn't flee formed into a group known as the Chetniks, who tried to liberate Yugoslavia but were too weak and small, as they were only joined by Serbs, and eventually they joined the Axis powers. Yugoslavia's fate seemed doomed, but then a man called Josip Broz Tito created his own guerrilla combat group known as the Yugoslav Partisans.
Tito was the leader of the Communist Party of Yugoslavia, and he swore to liberate Yugoslavia with his partisans and make all the ethnic states equal. This statement and the show of strength Tito gave to the much more powerful Axis powers made Tito an legend in Yugoslavia, with people from all ethnic states joining his partisan movement, which became 650,000 men strong in 1943. The Yugoslav partisans were a constant thorn in the Axis side, draining Axis resources which they desperately needed for the Eastern Front, with some German generals stating they are impressed with Tito's actions and how high the morale of the Yugoslav partisans was.
Within 3 years of non-stop bloody battles, the Yugoslav partisans fully liberated Yugoslavia and became by far the most successful resistance throughout the war. In the aftermath of the war, Tito became the president of Yugoslavia and made all 6 republics have equal rights. The year is 1945, and at last, Yugoslavia is reborn.